It's your boy, Sense of Self. Today, it's gonna be about food, you know. Food is such a deep topic, yeah, that today I want to take you into a different aspect of it that a lot of us are not aware of, you know. So before I start, I want to give an analogy, you know, of what food truly is. Give you a perspective, just to hold on to that perspective of it. And then once I go deeper into it, come back to it and you realize, raw, that is a perfect example for it, you know. So look at food like fuel to a car, you know. Now, before I go into this example, again, this is just an example, you know. This is only for you to understand, to grasp what's behind it. Don't get too lost in the example, because a lot of people get lost in examples. Examples are only there for you to understand the meaning behind what they're trying to say, all right? So nobody get lost in the example, all right? So look at food like fuel to a car, you know? And I say that because a fuel to a car is only to get it from A to B. Nothing more, nothing less, you know? A fuel only is supposed to be beneficial to a car moving from A to B, you know? And fuel is not the most important thing when it comes to a car. You need a little bit of fuel to move it. However, this car can function without a fuel, you know? You have the engine in there, you can operate it through its electricals. Even in today's time, fuel is not even used anymore. It's all electricity. So that's even eliminated from the whole picture, which is deep. But just stay with the example, okay? Food is like fuel to a car. It only needs it to move it from A to B. Nothing more, nothing less. You know, without fuel, the car can still function. It has all its primary functioning. You know, you can use it, radio, you can access everything you want to do, and it's perfectly fine. Now, apply that to food, to us, right? Food is only to sustain us, to move us from A to B too, you know. Food is only to keep us alive. So you only need it, when you're hungry. Like how you need a fuel, you only put a little bit of fuel and drive from A to B to drain it out. I use that example because I think it's the closest analogy I could use when it comes to food. So once I dissect it, it will make more sense. You know, if you can deep what I'm saying. Like I said, as vessels, as human beings, we only need food to sustain ourselves. Nothing more, nothing less. You know. So let's start. There are 3 types of food, yeah, for the vessel. Okay? You have food for the vessel, which is the last one. Food for the spirit, or food for the energy or emotion, whichever one, food. And you have food for the mind, hence food for thought, the word food for thought, you know. So these are also the 3 states of your being, you know. These 3 states also need food. You need to feed them to get them sustained. Now, if we were to talk about which is more important, it's very, very easy. Anyone who has any, you know, brains should be able to say which one is more important. Now, how do we dissect which one is more important? Again, I'm doing this video this way so it puts an awareness to what food truly is, you know. So stay with me, don't get lost, right? So there's 3 types of food for the vessel, right? You have food for the body, food for the spirit or energy or emotion, whichever one you want to call it. Then you have food for the mind, hence the word food for thought, right? Now, if you were to analyze which one is more important, it would come from how long you can go without any one of them having food, right? So let's just break it down. We can go without food for weeks, or if I'm to put it as a whole, let's just say about 2 weeks, right? Man can go without food for about 2 weeks. However, individuals can go a bit further, you know. which is the last one, right? Now, when we get to the middle bit, which is the spirit emotion, let's say water, for example, adding water to it, you can go without food and water for about a week max. Some people can go a bit further, but let's just say a week max, right? And then we get to the top bit, which is the mind. So let's say air, right? You can only go maximum, let's say 10 minutes. That's me pushing it, by the way. Man can only go 10 minutes without air before they die. So now you tell me which one is more important to feed, or which one is better to feed without the other, you know? Hence, I don't know if people are aware of people who are breatharians, meaning they breathe in prana. Prana is breath, you know? So they breathe in air, oxygen, because these oxygens has micro life within them that gives you pure energy. Oxygen is energy, hence why you push out carbon dioxide, you know, but it's deep. Yeah? In today's time, we've only been privy to the last one, and this is where I'm about to go a bit deeper into that, so stay with me, don't get lost. All right, now you have food. Food is only for the vessel, you know, and it's only to sustain you. When I say sustain you, meaning you only need to eat when you feel it, you know. But in today's time, the feeling that you get when you're hungry is reversed, meaning it is not true hunger. It is habits and taste, emotions pulling you to eat, because we've been given a 3-time schedule to eat. You call it breakfast, you call it supper, you call it dinner, or breakfast, lunch, dinner. Some people eat 5 times. I say this to say this. We were born into this conditioning or this mindset of having 3 times meal in a day to sustain yourself, which you and I already know, food is only to sustain the vessel. That's not even that important, because a lot of people can go without food. And the true health comes from the mind, the way you think, you know. You can eat the most finest foods on this planet. If your mindset is reversed, you're always going to be sick. I'll give you another example, right? You see a bum on the street or a homeless person on the street. You wonder to yourself, rah, these guys are eating all the foods that we don't want. And how are they not sick? Because I've never met a bum person that is sick, or a homeless person that's sick, or someone on the street that lives on the street that eats from the garbage. I've never seen them sick. Why is that? Because a bum going straight to the food in the garbage can is not looking at the food like, oh my God, if I eat it, it's gonna make me sick. In that, they don't get sick. Hence, mind, spirit, body. Anything you do comes from the mind. Catering for the physical vessel with food only delays the maintenance version of what's happening inside you, or the maintenance aspect of self, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here, as I want this video to be a 2-part video, you know, just so it's easy to digest. And tomorrow, or the next part, we'll talk a bit more into the maintenance of self, aspect of self, where the more food you put in, it's the more your immune system is focusing on breaking down those food, rather than having time to maintain the body, going into fasting and all aspects of these, all boiling down to food, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna end here, and he or she who this resonates with, I say peace and balance.